honor and respects. This is Sancista Brujo Luis. I know I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. It is January. I think we're entering February now, and it's been, you know, the beginning of the year is often very busy for me, so it's very hard for me to do videos. Today's a quiet day, so I decided to do a book showing. It's more of a book showing than a review, and I'm going to talk about the Clavis, or Key to the Magic of Solomon, from an original from an original Talismanic Grimoire in full color by, and this Grimoire here, it was by Ebenezer Sibley and Frederick, Hockley. Okay, this book right here was compiled and was edited and was written by one of my favorite grimoire historian authors, and I have a few of his grimoires, and he has also done Joseph Peterson right here. He has also done the Book of Oberon. Now, I just want to let people know that I love grimoires. I love to collect old grimoires, new grimoires. I am just a grimoire fanatic. Okay, I think in some of my videos I have said that, you know, when I was a kid and, well, when I was a teenager and in my 20s, you know, people were collecting whatever they were collecting. I was always collecting grimoires and books of spells and magic. But this is the book of, I think it's, the Book of Oberon. There's a picture that I want to keep private. Here's some Talismanic sigils. This one right here, you can see that the conjurations are in Latin, and then in English, the conjurations and prayers. So I did a video on this one a while back. Now, Joseph Peterson has also done another grimoire that I love, and this is like my third copy, but this is my favorite copy out of this. Edited by Joseph Peterson, the 6th and 7th books of Moses. Okay, and again, it is a beautiful work. I just love how the talismans are in red and black. Very beautiful. I've always studied magic. I've always studied philosophy, spiritualities, why people think the way they think, when it comes to their faiths, when it comes to their spiritual traditions, when it comes to magic and all that. I've always hungered for that form of knowledge. So that has taken me to collecting grimoires. And again, this one is the 6th and 7th books of Moses. And of course, this is the Book of Oberon by Joseph Peterson. And I have a few of his grimoires, which I'll show probably in a future video. This one is not so much of a review because I love it. I'm not going to really say too much about it because that would be biased. I love Joseph Peterson. All his grimoires are just fabulous. They're amazing. I just want to let people know why my knowledge in passwords and in sigils. Where did it start? Where did my interest start? My interest started when I was a kid and I was learning about magic and spiritualities, mostly magic. And my first book on magic was this one, which led me to wanting, this is a Mastering Witchcraft, a Practical Guide to Witches, Warlocks, and Covens by Paul Husson. This led me to wanting, this book was first published in 1969, so this is an old book, and I love my hardcover books. This book led me, I mean, it took many years later, but led me to wanting to learn more about sigils and talismans. And I think it was it should be around here. I have to stop the video and find it. But there was a certain sigil here calling on a spirit, that this is what led me to my interest in collecting grimoires. Let me find it for you, because I'm not going to be able to find it this way. That wasn't it. But it was about on the spirit Vasago. Let me look for it. So this is right here, this book right here, Paul Husson, Mastering Witchcraft, the Practical Guide to Witches, Warlocks, and Covens. This led me into my, this book was first published in 1969, and I think not this copy right here, but the first one that I ever came up to was in a library, my local library, and me being a kid, I wanted it. I wanted to keep it. I don't think I ever even returned it back to the library, so I probably owed them like $1 million by now. But anyways, I found this grimoire. I lost the one that I had taken from the library, but I found this in Salem, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta have that, because this was one of the first books on witchcraft that I had bought, and it was this sigil right here, Sigil of Vasago, which led me into my interests. Vasago. Vasago is a spirit, is a pleasant spirit of fortune telling, divination. He helps you find things that are unknown, or when it comes to divination. And everyone that knows me, I do spiritual consultations and readings. So that right there led me to wanting to learn more about sigils. There's another book here. It's another hardback. I think this was published in 1970. And it is Helping Yourself with White Witchcraft by L.G. Manning. And again, this book, I found sigils that are used in magic, but more so in the English translation. I didn't know much about, that at the time when I got this book. Here's another sigil. I think that's all the sigils she uses. Well, yeah, pretty much those. That led me to wanting to learn what are sigils, and this is one that I use a lot. I think I've done a video on the Sato square. And this is the Jupiter Pentacle. This is Venus right here. Yes, Pentacle of Venus. And we have Mars right here. Okay. This led me to wanting to learn more about sigils. I had picked up a book on sigils, and it was a grimoire by a Puerto Rican author. Her name is Mijanes Mayjin Gonzalez Whipler. It's in the library somewhere. I couldn't find it, but I took this one out. Secrets of Magical Seals by Ana Rivas. This is an old copy. I've had this for years and years and years. And this talks about seals and talismans. Just a basic introduction right there. Those are the seals of Moses. Then we have the seals of Solomon, and then we have right here black magic, seals of the spirits, and of course these right here, which are the seals of Solomonic magic, Rabbi Solomon. So this led me into my interest in collecting grimoires. I'm not going to pull out all my grimoires. I just have too many. But I wanted to keep it into this one same theme. This is the Key of Solomon, the King, Clavis. Clavis in Spanish, or this one is Claviculas Salomos, which Clavis means the passwords. In Spanish, una clave, or in Latin, clavis. And this one is basically in English. It has the seals right there, the sigils. It's just a basic, and it's all in English. I conjure and pray ye, O ye angels of God, and ye celestial spirits to come unto mine aid. Come and behold the signs of heavens, and be my witness before the sovereign Lord, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just really quickly. Here's a conjuration. So anyways, I just want to get to this book right here. I've been eyeing this book since it first came out in 2009, and the price for this book when it first came out was like $95, and that was a little too steep for me to pay for a book. And I finally, Terry, my partner, gave it to me as a present, and I'm excited to own it. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, I love it. And so I'm not going to do much of a review because it would be biased. I just want to show you what a beautiful book this is. And it's called The Clavis, or Key to the Magics of Solomon. And this is what beautiful. This is the red hardcover, because I love my hardcover grimoires. And let me show you what's inside. So the Clavis, or key to the magic of Solomon, is based on the 8 journals of an occultist and a physician of, I think it was from England or London or Europe, I'm not sure. But he had 8 journals on ceremonial magic. I don't practice ceremonial magic, but I find it very interesting and very intriguing, and I've always loved the sigils. But it was based on his journals, Ebenezer Sibley's, he lived around the 1800s, and I showed you the front cover. This was collected by Joseph Peterson, and I'm a huge fan of Joseph Peterson. I have all his grimoires. This one is very expensive, but you can see that he has notes, the introduction, who was Ebenezer Sibley. This is a printed, right here you have just pretty much the introduction, but it's a printed of Ebenezer Sibley's original 8 notebooks or grimoires on the Clavis. Okay, look at how beautiful it is, and it is in handwriting like cursive, and you can see it's just reprints of the original books. I just find it very fascinating, very beautiful. I want to show you the most important parts. Well, I think the whole book is very beautiful. It's an expensive book, but if you use Solomonic magic, often in many forms of traditional witchcraft, you will see many of these seals. This one's good for protection. Okay, use that a lot. Let me just remove this page. I gotta find an easier way to make my videos. So let me get into the beautiful parts of this book, because it's just an extraordinary book. And if you can afford the $70 that's worth, and you collect grimoires, then I definitely suggest that this would be one of them that you definitely get into your collections. So this grimoire is a collection of the 8 grimoires of Ebenezer Sibley, and it's just reprinted, and you can see the beautiful. I mean, this is just amazing. I'll try to find, because most of it is handwritten like this. I love this grimoire. These are the angels of the hours. I mean, it's chocked full of sigils and talismans. This book, I think, is 420 pages, hardback. It's a very big book. I think this, no, I was going to say this was the Seder, but incorrect. Let me go to the next part of the book. These are the sigils of the moon. Under the influence and power of the moon. A lot of people say, me being an espiritista and a brujo, what is my interest in sigil magic? I've always been fascinated by, like I said, spirituality, religions, and forms of magic around the world, and I've always collected. I just have this love for grimoires, collecting grimoires, and just, now we're going to go, I think this is, yes, I've always had this love for grimoires and books of magic ever since I was little. I think this is Mars. Let's see. Yes, this is Mars sigils. It's an extraordinarily beautiful grimoire. I definitely highly recommend it if you collect grimoires. Sigil magic is very complicated. It's not something that you just jump in and delve in and read one book and you know all there is to know about sigils. It takes many years of learning and studying, and I've shown you only a few of my grimoires. But I have a nice collection of grimoires that I love grimoires. I could just keep going on and on and on. Just showing you all these sigils. Here's the orations, las oraciones, as we say in Spanish, the invocation, and then there's the conjurations. The hours of Thursday, and who rules each day of the week, at what hour. So the first hour right there. And we have Samael for Mars. Michael, 3 o'clock is by Michael, Sun. And it keeps going. Then we have Friday, the sigils of Venus. Sorry, let's get some things out of the way. I love this man, all his grimoires. I collect them all. This is Saturn for Saturday, the angels that rule the hours. Omega. And the sigils, the seals. I'm not going to go through the whole book because it's too long. Just going to finish this one. I'm sure people have seen that. So here we have the sigil for the magic ring. And then we go into bistro. Oh, birto. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I said bistro. Birto. And then these pages have handwriting. And then it goes into this. It's just really beautiful. It feels like you're holding because of the pages. A beautiful grimoire. Not much I can say about it because every time I open this book, I'm like awestruck at how beautifully reproduced Peterson does his grimoires, or his reproductions of grimoires. I mean, he does an amazing work. There's no comparison to his reproductions on grimoires. I love them. It just keeps going. So this is that was the final part of the grimoires of Ebenezer Sibley. Then it goes into notes, and this is the last part of the book. So do I highly recommend, do I recommend highly? I mean, if you collect grimoires and if you're into, if you're not bothered by Islamic or Moses magic or, Judeo forms of magic, Egyptian magic, then definitely I would recommend. These are all footnotes at the end of the book. It's around 500 pages. But what a beautiful grimoire. So right now, the Clavis, originally it was published in 2009, and it went for $95. At that time, it was a little too steep for a grimoire. I will go as much as maybe $30, $40. But now you can probably pick this up at Amazon.com for $65. It is 450 pages. A lot of people ask me in my spiritual or magical work, do I use these? Yes, I do. I use them in resguardos, like mojo bags, where I place a charm of a saint, herbs, stones, and depending on what the resguardo is for, I consecrate the bag, and I do place some sigils or some seals in it. So you will often see me, I don't have one handy, but you will often see me with my ruler and literally painstakingly trying to draw out the sigil to give it my energy, and it depends on what the resguardo is. So if you do work with sigils, do I work ceremonial magic? No, I do not work ceremonial magic, but I do find that sigils are very beautiful, especially in your spiritual work, in your magical workings. I don't use this in espiritismo, because this is not part of espiritismo, but it is part of my magical workings or magical traditions. And like I said, I do use them in seals. I'm not seals in, my dog is barking, in resguardos. So to end the video, love this man, and I collect anything that's by Joseph Peterson, and I mean, it is such a beautiful, beautiful book. If you can dish out the $65, definitely do so. I definitely tell people, if they have no knowledge on talismans, to get a simple, maybe something from Anne Rivas or something from my Jean Gonzalez Whippler, who's a Puerto Rican author, and she wrote stuff on just an introduction to what sigil magic is. So if you can find this, I definitely recommend, just to start you off, just to get your feet wet, get something by maybe, Ana Rivas or my Jean Gonzalez Whippler, and then work your way up. Again, I started my interest in sigils with this book, Mastering Witchcraft, A Practical Guide for Witches, Warlocks, and Coverings by Paul Husson. And then gradually, little by little, I started collecting all the grimoires that I have. And I'm not going to show you all my grimoires. I think there was, after that one, I got a cheap version of the 6th and 7th books of Moses. And then finally I got this one, and I love this, by Joseph Peterson. I love anything that this man does. If you're interested in more on my grimoire collection, let me know down below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Press that little ring button to get notifications when I have new videos out. I haven't done a video in a while. It's been a busy beginning of the year, but I will be bringing more videos out. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Sancista Brujolis. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And please hit that little bell button right below so you can get notifications when I get new videos out. This is Sancista Brujolis. Santo Sanse.